Quezon City. This is near the capital, Manila. The National Union of Journalists led the so-called Black Friday protests. Those were sparked by the government's decision to revoke the license of a local news site, Rappler. Correspondent Buena Bernal reports.
Instead of being on the other side of the camera, these journalists have become the news, protesting what they say is a declining space for media freedom in the Philippines. The government revoked online news group Rappler's license to operate over alleged foreign ownership issues, a move journalists groups say is meant to silence criticism and part of a pattern of media intimidation.
It's sad that it's happening again, and that I have to think twice about saying that, right? Because we are journalists. We're not radical, but the types of actions that we've had to live through is pushing us to a different place and reminds me too much of the battles that our generation has had to fight.
On top of the order for Rappler to close shop, Ressa has been summoned by the state's premier investigative agency over a cybercrime charge. Rappler is also the subject of a probe by the Justice Department for other possible violations. The news site has written stories critical of the government that have raised greater scrutiny on Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte's leadership, including his controversial anti-drug campaign. But the government says this protest is proof that there is no climate of fear.
The government says democracy is alive and well in the Philippines, but press freedom advocates maintain that the strength of a democracy is measured by how well it treats criticism and dissent.
Rappler is seen as a test case for Philippine press freedom under Duterte.
Because it demonstrates how the state responds to media organizations that they consider to be unfair. The president himself has been very vocal against his criticisms against Rappler, and if we take his word for it, then there is some reason to think that this media organization is being singled out.
Hundreds joined the protest, and aspiring journalist Abby Zara was one of them.
Sa katunayan po, parang mas napapalakas po talaga nito yung kagustuhan ko po na maging journalist at mas magsiwalat po sa nangyayari sa lipunan.
Rappler CEO Ressa says attacks on the media can only help the cause of media freedom, emboldening journalists to push back and keeping journalism alive. Buena Bernal, Channel News Asia, Manila.
Let's take a look now at other stories also in the news today. 5 people were